Our fifth speaker is Kevin Duffy with City Harvest. City Harvest has been rescuing food to deliver to the hungry in New York City for more than 3 decades. Kevin?
Thank you, Diane. And thank you to the Food Tank folks for organizing this today. So City Harvest was the world's first and New York City's only food rescue organization. About 30 years ago, we were founded by a concerned group of volunteers who really believed that excess food should go to helping feed people rather than go to waste. One of our founders was in a restaurant one day and had ordered potato skins, so the story goes. And she was curious about what happened to the potato that was scooped out. She went and asked the chef, and he told her that it was typically just thrown away. And so shortly thereafter, she and some other volunteers started borrowing cars and collecting food from restaurants and bringing it to soup kitchens and food pantries across the country. And so over the last 3 decades, City Harvest has grown as an organization and evolved during that time. We have a food rescue facility in Queens that helps us capitalize on bulk donations. We have a fleet of 18 refrigerated trucks that use environmentally friendly technology. We'll be introducing the first 2 electric vehicles to our fleet earlier this year. And Christine and I were just talking about how we recently started composting some of the food waste that we're not able to distribute to folks. And in that time, the ways that we've collected food has also evolved. What started out of the restaurant industry really now collects food from all segments of the food industry. So we're collecting from farms, supermarkets, wholesalers, the fabulous farmers at Grow NYC's green markets, and those are just some of the supporters. Over the course of a year, we collect food from about 2,000 food donors in New York City. And this year, thanks to those donors, they'll help us deliver over 46 million pounds of food. And that food, again, is coming from everywhere in the food industry. And it's going to over 400 emergency food programs across New York. And because the food that we collect is donated, it helps us keep our expenses down. So this year, it'll cost City Harvest 24 cents to rescue and deliver each of those pounds of food. While we strive to deliver as much food as possible, we also know that it's important that the food we deliver is nutritious. And so 60% of the food that we deliver is fresh produce, 75% is what we call nutrient dense, and so it's that produce, dairy, and meat and other proteins. And through our Healthy Neighborhoods initiative, we distribute fresh produce in targeted low-income communities. Folks are able to register and get an allotment of food in basically a farmer's market setting. And as you may have seen lately, and some of the folks touched on it, this is a very timely evening for this panel. The census data that was released earlier today talked about how more than 21% of New Yorkers are now living in poverty. That rate grew compared to last year. Almost 2 million New Yorkers are in danger of seeing their food stamp benefits cut, depending on how the action in Washington, D.C. plays out later this fall with the Farm Bill. And New York City's not alone in facing this problem. There's urban, suburban, and rural communities across the country that struggle with hunger, and yet there's a lot of extra food out there that's not being consumed. A few weeks ago, the USDA released its latest report on food insecurity, and 50 million households across the country struggle and face that issue. And in a time like that, with rates of poverty and hunger growing, and social services being cut, food rescue is one of those common sense solutions that can help alleviate this challenge. And so diverting consumable food that would otherwise be wasted and getting it onto the plates of those people that need it is something that we really are thrilled to see becoming more popular and everyone becoming more conscious of it.